In this lesson, we're going to look at some common routing protocol issues and how we might troubleshoot those issues. First, I have OSPF enabled on my device. If I want to check to make sure that I have the correct configuration, I would do a show run OSPF. Here I can see that I've configured OSPF, what the process ID is, and which interfaces I have it enabled under with the area numbers that I have enabled. I would do a show IP OSPF neighbors to see my neighbors, and a show IP OSPF route to see which routes that OSPF is seeing. If I want to check to see whether or not these routes are installed in the IP route table, I would do a show IP route. If there was an OSPF route installed, then I would see it here. One of the common commands to run to see if OSPF is configured on the router is show IP OSPF. Here I can see a ton of information about my OSPF process, and I can see that it's been up for 12 minutes. If I want to know if OSPF is enabled on a specific interface, I would type show IP OSPF interface. Here I could see which interfaces OSPF is enabled on and get information about those individual interfaces. This is also a place where I can check the router IDs to make sure that I don't have duplicate router IDs. Now let's take a look at EIGRP. One of the most common things that can go wrong with an EIGRP installation is not having the same autonomous system number. If you do not have the same autonomous system number, you will not form a neighbor relationship. In order to check that, the easiest way I can think of is by saying show run EIGRP. This shows me that my autonomous system number is 10, and I would want to check that same value on my neighbor device. I can also see that I have EIGRP enabled on interface 4/46. Another issue that is common with EIGRP is if you change the K values away from the defaults. If the K values do not match between neighbors, they will not form a neighbor relationship. You can see this by simply typing show IP EIGRP. I may also want to check my neighbor status by issuing the command show IP EIGRP neighbors. I also certainly want to check my topology database by issuing show IP EIGRP topology to see which routes are my successors and my feasible successors. From there, I can type show IP EIGRP route to see which routes were taken out of my topology database and placed in my routing table. Finally, if I have RIP running on my device, RIP being one of the more simple routing protocols, I would simply troubleshoot it the same way I would troubleshoot other protocols, by double checking to make sure my configuration is correct by doing a show run RIP. I can also take a look at the routing process by performing a show IP RIP instance CCNA. Here I can see the details about my RIP instance. Finally, the last command I may want to run for RIP is show IP RIP neighbors. This completes lesson 13.